Dreamers everywhere. Welcome to the Dueling Disney podcast. I am one of your hosts, Andy Zilmerman.
And I am the other one of your hosts, Al Day.
Drinking a cup of coffee.
I'm drinking my cup of coffee with a non-Disney character on it.
It is a non-Disney character. I just don't know how you can drink a cup of coffee at 4:22.
Well, because it's a Saturday and I woke up at 6:45. That's how I can do it.
Oh, I woke up early too without wanting to. Like, I hate when that happens, but
yeah, I had to because I had a work thing today.
Yeah.
With my fancy new title comes fancy new weekend responsibilities, so I had to go. But it was cool for our listeners. I had to go welcome a bunch of kids to the 50th UC Berkeley Taekwondo tournament, which was really cool. But I had to wake up at 6:45 on a Saturday, so. And just so you know, I don't generally wake up at 6:45 on Saturday.
Yeah, me either, but I was thinking we get to fall back.
This is true.
And
I'm on a plane tomorrow, so that's going to be doubly helpful because I was worried that I was going to be I have to get up early for that too, but now it'll all even out.
All right, that's true. Okay, how was your Disney week?
You're right. I know you're right.
You're right. I know you're right.
Sorry, I he got into a car accident this week.
What?
Did you see this?
What?
The actor who plays Cameron and lives in LA, and he was driving his truck and it went kind of crazy and ran into a building. Nobody was hurt.
Oh my god!
They didn't arrest him, so it doesn't seem like there was any kind of shady business going on.
Nope, I missed that completely.
Once I heard that, I commenced with all the Ferris Bueller jokes.
Oh,
I was telling my brother, I was like, "Yeah, he was probably on the phone with Ferris." And
no, lately it would have been the Succession characters.
Yeah, well, I'm not through Succession yet. I'm on episode 3, and it's awesome. But it's really it's really hard to do an hour long. Although I've been killing Kim's Convenience, which is an awesome show.
Love it.
But none of those are Disney, so we should probably.
That is true. Yeah. That is true. Okay. Okay. So your Disney week then. How was your Disney week?
Disney week was good. My Disney week is going to be even better 24 hours now because I'll be at Disneyland tomorrow around this time. But this week was cool. I've talked about this program before on Disney Plus, and they just came out with a new season, which is Behind the Attraction. Mm-hmm. So another 6 episodes. I watched 2 of the 6. I watched the one on pirates, and I watched one of the episodes is completely devoted to Disney food.
Oh.
And so they covered Dole Whips and churros and turkey legs.
Ooh.
And I was like, I'm so glad I'm watching this right before I go to Disneyland, because the whole time I was like, oh, churro.
Oh, that's good to know. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. I knew that one was on Guardians of the Galaxy. The
Florida one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really want to see that.
Yeah, I love that show. It's just such a deep dive into your favorite attractions. It's so cool.
Maybe that's what I need to be watching right now. I'm kind of done with all the drama for a while, or the comedy that is so dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
dark
exactly.
Comedy. So
yeah,
that's why
I love Kim's Convenience. I'm like, oh, I like these people. I like this family.
I do like that family though. They're funny. They're fun. Oh, it's a good show. Good show. Good people in that show.
So yeah. Behind the Attractions was my Disney week, and I'm going to Disneyland tomorrow. Which by the time we put this up, I will probably already either be there or have been there. So,
well, you better be posting pictures. You don't post pictures very often.
I am 54-year-old middle-aged man. It is still amazing to me that my pocket contains a computer that takes pictures and puts them into space and onto this thing called the internet. So I will try to remember, but I'm not naturally, and I am not, here's the thing, this about me. I don't naturally take selfies. It just feels very weird to me.
So don't take a selfie. Take a picture of some of the things like the holiday decorations.
Oh, I'll definitely do that. And here's my thing. I'm hoping I get there in time I haven't done, even though I've been there in Halloween, I don't like lines. And so I haven't done the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay on the Haunted Mansion. So I might do that tomorrow.
You mean ever?
No, I've done it before.
Oh.
But the last few times I've been there when it's been up, because the line, Haunted Mansion line is always long, but that line gets super long when that's up. So.
Oh, and are you going to Tiana's then?
Well, it depends on what time I get there. I would definitely want to go to Tiana's, but my
Okay.
research has shown that if you don't like, people are saying that even if you mobile order, it's like 2 hours.
Well,
So
mobile
if I
order when
get
you
there,
get there.
well, I'm gonna mobile order when I get there, but like if I don't get, I'm not probably gonna get there till the evening, and so if I don't get
Oh.
there, I don't know if this happens, but there's a chance that I get there and they're like, we're not taking any more orders. But I'm definitely, oh my god, Tiana's. I'm definitely gonna walk around Tiana's at the very least.
Well, then you definitely have to take pictures.
Absolutely.
We're missing you by a week. A week and a couple days.
2 weeks, isn't it? Because you all are going.
Oh yeah, 2 weeks. I
Yeah.
was like, I was putting myself ahead. No, yeah, I was putting myself
It's just
ahead.
an hour we fall back, not weeks.
Yeah, I'm confused on my weeks. There's
That's
been a
okay.
lot
You're
of
pretty.
we know that even is.
And you're supposed to say you're pretty too, but that's fine. Hey, that's okay.
You're not pretty too.
No, that's true.
Do you want to be pretty? Do you feel pretty?
Man,
I'm so pretty. Do you
other-
feel pretty and witty and gay?
I do. All of those things in the traditional sense. Yes. I'm not gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
If it's the traditional sense, that would mean you're just happy.
Exactly. I am, because I'm drinking coffee. Coffee. The solution to all of life's problems.
Not,
and of course, I'll be
where's
up
my
till 2 o'clock in
stitch?
the morning.
Not honey lavender stress relief tea.
Yeah, I love that you drink stress relief tea right before we record to ensure a peppy podcast performance, to use a bit of alliteration.
It's the truth. It's the truth. Yeah.
What about your Disney week? What are you doing? What have you done?
My Disney week was more getting ready and checked in for the Disneyland trip and the Disney World trip.
Mm-hmm. So you all are going about a month apart, right?
Exactly a month apart. Exactly. We go November 19th and we go December 19th.
Wow.
And Annika, the youngest, is going to be singing with the Candlelight Processional Choir. So she's getting her dates for that. So we'll be able to hear her sing or see her sing.
I was going to say, if you're a good mom, if you can hear her sing out of the choir.
You don't know. Her voice is pretty loud.
My kid.
Oh, but yeah, Halloween happened this week, and I wore my Jack Skellington dress.
Nice.
And
I dressed as Barbie.
Oh, it was so cute. I saw the pictures.
It was terrible. It was
awesome. It was awesome.
It was definitely
it.
not pretty.
No, I disagree. I thought that was so clever. I forgot to tell you that I saw those pictures. So great. Did you see this announcement? It's kind of bothering me, but I don't know what's ahead. I wonder if Emma knows what's ahead. Our final closing announcement: Bill Rogers and Camille Dixon departing as voices of Disneyland Park and Disney California Adventure.
Oh, I did not see that.
I'm kind of sad.
Did that, I would tell everybody to send a write-in vote for me to become the new voice.
Well, if you haven't heard anything yet, you're probably not in the running.
I mean, listen, people who listen to this podcast hear me at the end of every podcast do some form of Disney announcement. So
they do. So if you don't know, Bill Rogers and Camille Dixon are the married couple who do the voices at Disneyland and California Adventure, and they are leaving, and it is not their choice. Disneyland is deciding to go other routes with their park announcements. I guess they will still be involved in D23. They're going to be involved with Disney, like they'll do D23 announcements and things for Disney destinations. I'm just really kind of curious to see where Disney's going.
Yeah, because they're very traditional voiceover voices in the industry. Because I've done a little voiceover work, the industry has sort of gone more towards natural voices. So I wonder if that's what the park is doing.
Natural voices.
So instead of the announcer voice, so the announcer voice being "ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls," as opposed to natural voice, which is sort of just a natural speaking voice that people can identify with, that sort of thing.
You're not going to pay attention to that.
This is what I'm saying as a purveyor of the traditional announcer voice. Yes, I agree.
You know what I say in class, and it's not even politically correct, but in class, if I'm trying to get their attention, I will say sometimes I'll go, "Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls," and they just they have no idea what it's from. Like they're 12 and 13 years old.
Well, they live in Oregon, right? It's not like
but a lot of them go to Disney though. And now in the demographic I'm in, the old school, no.
Right.
The old school, they're like, they have no idea. They travel more than I do. So, But anyway, I don't know. I'm kind of a little sad.
It is sad. I love those voices.
If it were their
Right.
choice, I would be like, okay, well, you guys had your run
Right.
and go have fun.
But
So,
it's like I hear those voices and I instantly smell the popcorn and like, it's a direct line to my memory. So
yeah,
I love those voices. I will be sorry to see them go.
Yes.
Unless, of course, I get the job, at which point I will be grateful to their legacy.
You're not getting the job.
I want the job, though.
You didn't even know they were leaving, so
yeah,
they obviously didn't call you for it.
I was busy getting my own job.
That
I
is
just
true.
started
That
a new
is true.
job. Yeah.
So I'm wearing my New Jersey Avenger Con. Can I pull it up that much? New Jersey Avenger Con.
This is a family show.
No, I'm not.
Nice.
This is
I
the
love
t-shirt that Kamala Khan wore on the first episode of Miss Marvel when she was not supposed to go to the Comic-Con, but she did anyway, and she became Miss Marvel.
And defied her parents.
Defy her parents. It's true. But the Marvels are coming out.
Yes, I'm so excited. I already got
in a week. I'm very excited. We have a holiday on November 10th. You probably do too.
Yeah, we do. So, but me and my brother got Thursday night tickets.
Oh, of course, because you can stay up because you drink coffee at 4:22 in the afternoon.
Well, I don't know that it's staying up that late. The tickets are like 6:30, so I don't know.
That was one of those midnight things.
Are you kidding me? The last midnight movie I saw was Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, and that movie had 15 endings, and I swore never again. And that was over 20 years ago. I do not do midnight screenings.
All right, fair enough. Ooh, I wonder if Ed would want to go on Thursday night.
You should ask him out. I think he likes you.
Should.
I'm just saying.
I don't. No, you know what? No, actually, you can't assume that.
I'm saying from my end, he has
27 years. Yeah,
he has mentioned to me that he likes you.
All right.
He told me he was going to propose before he told you.
Did he tell you?
Yeah, because you don't remember this.
I thought it was a surprise to you, like it was to me.
The actual proposal was a surprise, but I was visiting you all, and like literally every 5 minutes, you kept bugging him about proposing.
Oh,
and then when we were in the airport, because this is the days people could walk you to the gate, Ed and I were talking here in the bathroom, and he's like, Al, I'm gonna propose, but I wish you would shut up about it. And I'm like, yeah, I've known her for a long time. And then I pulled you aside and said, shut up, and maybe it'll happen.
Oh God, give me a break.
Yeah.
Let's go back and talk to that Andy, Ed, and Al. Yeah.
He's a lucky fella.
What are we talking about today, though, now that I mentioned my shirt?
We are talking about, which I'm really excited about, our top 5 favorite Disney and Disney-related properties, female protagonists. Now, I originally said, let's talk about princesses, but then I realized I am such a pedantic person that I am always the person when somebody says, the princess is like Mulan, and I push my imaginary glasses and go, well, actually, Mulan is not a princess because she's not. So it's our top 5 female protagonists or folks who identify as female, although when it's Disney movies, it's gonna be, But and I'm really excited about it in honor of the Marvels, which has 3 lead female protagonists, which I will say I'm very excited to see, and we will see the internet full of incels probably try to say bad things, but I'm really excited to see. I'm actually more excited to see the Marvels than I have been for like the last 5 Marvel movies.
Agreed. I agree with you 100%. So, agreed.
Yeah.
I still haven't finished watching Secret Invasion. We're not all the way done with Secret Invasion, so I don't know if I have to be done with that before.
I mean, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I don't think you do. Secret Invasion wasn't that great.
I know, but it still has Nick Fury and with the
I'm trying to think if this is a spoiler. I think by the end of the movie, by the end of Secret Invasion, the status quo at the beginning of Secret Invasion is restored, and I think you could probably skip Secret Invasion entirely.
All right.
And there's one new character introduced that might be a surprise, but in general, I don't even know if that character's gonna be in the movie. But I very seriously don't think you have to see Secret Invasion to do this. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I ain't seen the movie yet. What are you asking me for?
Well, I wasn't. I was just kind of wondering. You kind of took it upon yourself.
As I often do. Again, if you've listened to this podcast and you've gleaned nothing but this, I am extraordinarily pedantic. And I don't particularly refer to it as mansplaining because I was doing it way before I was a man. I like to call it nerdsplaining.
It's its own thing for sure.
Yes.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. Okay, well, am I going first then?
Sure.
I'm afraid I'm gonna like
as someone who identifies as female.
As female?
Right? Why don't you take the lead?
Okay, well. Okay, so my first I think is gonna be an obvious. And we did say everywhere in the Disney universe properties and everything like that. So my first is gonna be Leia. Because I think it's very obvious. But I'm gonna tell you that she is a badass in original 77 form, in the late form before she died, and even when they CGI'd her, and when they got the actress to play little kid Leia in Obi-Wan.
Maybe my favorite version of Leia. She was so awesome.
So I am saying Leia is the perfect female. Well, I've got a lot, but I do think she is the perfect female protagonist.
Yeah, and also a princess.
And also a princess. From birth to death.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I could not agree with you more. I am not 100% sure, but it's very likely that Princess Leia was my very first crush.
Yeah.
Leia, so awesome. And even for those, there may be listeners who have read some of the more extended, like Star Wars novels and stuff like that. Just sometimes more bad person, cool, bad in terms of being cool, so I don't swear. In the novels and the sort of extended universe stuff than in the movies, because in the movies, one of the things that will forever disappoint me in the sequel trilogy, the plan was for Leia to really feature in the third movie, and unfortunately Carrie Fisher passed away before that, so they had to do some real reconfiguration in that film. But oh my gosh, Leia is just so awesome. Such like in my memory, one of the first female characters who was set as just as equal and just as part of the group as the guys, and B, even though they had the weirdness with her kissing Luke and like her whole story wasn't centered around who she was in love with, right? That was not sort of the purpose of Leia. And the end of her story had nothing to do with that. She was a leader and she had stuff to do. And
that's right.
I love Princess Leia.
Yep, me too.
Really good pick.
So are you like, was that all of that just for mine, or was that actually a pick of yours?
No, that wasn't a pick of mine. It was not on my list.
So all of that was just mansplaining my pick.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Nerdsplaining? Let us be clear.
I'm just kidding.
Let us be clear. The distinction being, mansplaining is when a man explains to a woman something she already knows. Nerdsplaining is when you just do it to everybody.
That is true. That is true.
I don't discriminate. I am often explaining things that people already know to men.
Yeah. I get it.
It is a thing that I do.
Yeah.
So, and let's be clear, you've done it to me. We're both Disney nerds. Yeah. Yeah. So, my first pick is one of my absolute favorite movies. I thought this movie was a revelation, not only as a great movie, but like really insightful about human beings and people. And this character is definitely female identified, but also represents a component of a larger female identified. And so mine is Joy from Inside Out. I love Inside Out so very much.
Yeah, I do too.
It is such an interesting take on what it means, and I'm assuming, because this was not my experience, what it means to grow up and wrestle as a little girl and wrestle with the different emotions that you're experiencing and just trying to be a good kid, but having to kind of get all this stuff in your head to like line up and make yourself be a person. And Joy was sort of like the lead of that. And it's interesting because Joy, as a protagonist, is not really a great person.
Right.
but
Well,
is coming from a very good intent,
right.
which makes
And
it so interesting. Go on, please,
mhm.
nerdsplain.
I'm not going to nerd explain. I'm going to tell you that we all have people in our life like Joy
Mm-hmm.
who, no matter, you can have like the worst thing happen to you and they will come back with, well, it's going to get better.
Mm-hmm. That
Or
toxic positivity.
that, I hate it. I hate it so much. I am probably sure I'm too far the other way where I have permanent negativity.
You? I'm shocked. Shocked.
I'm like anger, and I'm a mixture of anger and disgust on a full-time basis. Like the rest of them just left. I just have anger and disgust in here. Yeah, yeah. So you're right, not a perfect person,
Yeah.
but what a great movie.
Well, and that's part of why I like her as a character, is full of good intent, full of assurance that they are correct. And in addition to sort of all the things that people often talk about that movie, it's sort of an indication of, I know I have had points in my life where I'm like, I am right about this thing and I'm just going to move for it, and regardless of what other people say or think, only to later be like, oh wow, I was not right about that thing. Other people had different ideas and I may have screwed this up, right? Like, I love Joy. It's such a
Yeah,
great character.
that was a dog.
Thor agrees.
Yeah, Thor is trying to protect me from Ed, who is in the garage. Anyway, if we can ignore him.
Sure.
I don't know how loud he is on the podcast, but one moment. All right. I don't know if that helped. Listeners, I just shut the door. You can tell me if it helped or not. Okay, so this other female heroine in my mind, also the movie came out in 1977, just like Star Wars. And one of my favorite movies in the world is Pete's Dragon. And so you might think that the hero is the invisible dragon or the little boy, but I think Nora, played by Helen Reddy,
Mm-hmm.
is amazing. And in 1977, she was the hero. She was the leader. She was the everything in that movie. So she helped rescue Pete from the horrible foster family, and she took care of her dad, who was a drunkard, and she had lost her fiance off in sea, and she's running the lighthouse because her dad's worthless now. So this is a woman who took care of everything.
Yep.
So there you have it, Nora. You're one of my female protagonists. I just love her. I love her.
I'm such a huge fan of Pete's Dragon. It's one of the most underrated Disney films,
Mm-hmm.
particularly in that period after Walt died and before Little Mermaid, where Disney films were not always of the highest quality.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I still do.
Movie.
I still have a heart for it. But I think in that time, and they redid the story, and they redid some of it because there was so much abuse actually in the first one with the foster family.
And you may disagree, but I really like the remake a lot as well.
Okay, see, I haven't even seen the remake because I love the original so much, and I'm afraid of it. So
no, it's one of the few remakes that I think took inspiration from the original, but didn't say, okay, we're basically going to shot for shot remake. Like a lot of the remakes are like just like nostalgia machines, where it's like, huh? And this one is really like, hey, let's retell this story from a modern lens, right? And I
probably need to watch it. Yeah,
it was of all the Disney remakes, probably my favorite. Okay. Now that's not a high bar to clear, but
for real, yeah. But when I think back about it, it's kind of cool to have her be that. I mean, she really did take care of everything.
Yeah.
She got the snake oil salesman out of town. Man, she did a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, girls, go watch, and people that identify as girls, go watch Pete's Dragon.
I'd say even boys, because boys can have
go
women
follow
as
Nora.
Heroes as well.
You are, and they should,
and rarely do, and that's one of the things that really
that is true.
Because I'm like, there's some really awesome female characters that
I know
we should
know.
Anyway, so my next is, and here's the thing, there's a reason I didn't pick Leia.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because when I sort of look at protagonists, I think of it like in the traditional literary sense of the person who's the primary person will follow through the story, who's changed by the story.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just my way of framing the conversation more than anything else, because I love Leia, but this next character I also love and is related in a certain way, and is definitely the protagonist of her particular set of films, and it's Rey. Uh,
Yeah.
by the
Yeah.
end of the films, Rey Skywalker, who, if people have differing reactions to the sequel trilogy, I adore the one that everybody else seems to hate. I love the second one. Like, I just love it because literally at one point, no, Yoda just burns down the patriarchy, and I'm like, this movie's awesome. And I think the people who don't like it, I find it like pretty telling. Like, oh, you don't like a female protagonist, and you don't like rethinking the things that you thought were true when you were 12 and realizing they're more complicated and maybe aren't the best lessons, right? Like, those are the people I'm like, there's a reason you don't like this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And but anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. Rey as a character, I just like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly wish they would not have connected her family wise to other characters in the trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
because for me, one of the most powerful parts about the second one is people saying Rey is no one. She comes from no like notable family. She's just awesome. And you don't have to be related to the Skywalkers to be awesome. And that she comes from literally the sands of nothing to rebuild the Jedi Order by the end, and claims the name Skywalker, not because she is related by blood, but because she's earned it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love Rey, and from what I've been reading lately, they're going to do another movie or set of movies with her as the protagonist, and I'm
Oh, I don't
100%
think I
there for
knew that.
it.
I don't think I knew that.
I think it just came out this week. I am
Oh,
100,000% there
okay.
to see more adventures with this character.
Yeah,
I
I
love
think
her
that would be
so much.
great for all of us.
Oh
Actually,
yeah,
they need more merch. So their merch that they have is already like a has been merch that they got to get
yeah.
more
They got to
out.
get
So
more
therefore,
merch. Yeah, they got to do more.
more
Yeah,
merch. Yeah.
The
Uh,
Mandalorian is only going to sell so much.
you're right about the protagonist. Usually, I mean, yes, in the literary sense, it is following it. I guess I was thinking about. Well, see,
I mean, it
I
doesn't
think that in
really matter.
no, but here's the thing: in Obi-Wan, I think it followed Leia.
I would say you're probably right in Obi-Wan. Like, she is sort of the at least the character who's most impacted by the events of the film.
It's literally her life
And
that
and
they are trying to
Luke
protect.
basically doesn't even know anything's going on.
Exactly. He's trying to find a power converter.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so now I can get into more of the original protagonist, the literary definition of it. And so Mary Poppins, I think, is another
Interesting.
badass.
Mhm.
Disney portrayed her obviously a little bit different than PL Travers?
Mhm.
PT? Yeah.
Famously, and there's a whole movie
Yeah.
about that.
There is. Who I think she was probably pretty badass in the story, but I still think she pretty much is in the movie. So maybe it wasn't exactly what Travers had in mind. But I mean, Mary Poppins is not your happy-go-lucky, silly girl,
Oh, absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, she is like, take charge. I am in charge.
Mhm. And
I
you
mean,
all
and
need to
even
catch
to
up.
and you all need to catch up. Exactly. I mean, and even over the bankers
Mhm.
and all that. So yeah, she was that. So
I mean, I 100% agree with you, and I don't necessarily want to say more just because maybe I'll be talking about it again. I don't know.
okay. All
I'm
right.
just
Then what's your
saying.
next? You can do all your nerd splaining when it's might be yours.
So, my next, and let me say my top three, the three I'm going to talk about. I have rearranged the order of these three so many times that really they're almost equal. My number one is it's my number one, but it's very close. So my number three is a more recent addition, and it's probably the movie of the last 20 years that I probably love the most. And I've loved a lot of movies over the last 20 years. But this protagonist is just so awesome. And it's Mirabelle from Encanto, Mirabelle of the
Oh
family
yeah.
Madrigal. Um,
Yeah.
she's just amazing. I love
Yeah.
Maribel, how she is the one person in her family without powers, and yet is the only person who can actually save the family, save the Encanto, save the house, save everybody. Be not in spite of not having powers, but because she's got the perspective of being the one.
Hmm.
Because she is willing and loves her family so much, she's willing to question what everybody says about Bruno. She's willing to question everything she's always been taught. And it's all comes from the love of her family, many of whom don't always show her the highest expression of love. I'll also say that, like, from an animation perspective, if you watch Encanto, particularly when her sister is singing, the one who everybody loves, and you look at the
Hmm.
face on this
Hmm.
character, it is so hilarious. Every time
Hmm.
her sister's on the screen, the look on her face of just like, ugh, this one,
Uh-huh. It's so
it's
funny.
so hilarious.
They did such a great job.
Such good animation in that movie. And I just love Encanto. Like, it's I can rewatch almost any Disney movie, but I could finish watching Encanto, turn around, and start it over again. It's so good.
I have it playing it when I need background noise, if I need it.
Mm-hmm.
And Concha is usually what I turn on.
So.
I just love listening to it as well. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay. Well, mine is a little on the nose for this one,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't matter because I still think she's strong and she's smarter than anyone else in the whole wide world. So Shuri, from Black Panther,
Oh
who
yeah,
does turn into Black Panther,
yeah.
so she does become the actual protagonist. But I actually like her better in the first
Oh yeah,
movie. I mean,
yeah. I
she's
love her.
fine and she's strong, and I'm so glad
Yeah,
that she is the Black Panther. But I really liked
yeah.
her in the first movie a lot. I like that she was the one that they came to. I She could do anything.
Mm-hmm.
She could do anything. And yeah, she could do that again in the second movie, but I just thought the first movie, I liked her relationship with Chadwick a lot. And so
As sort of the one person who could talk to the
yeah.
king on an equal level. And I
Yes,
think
yes,
I
yes.
so agree with you. And part of it for me was in the first movie, so much about that character was her lightness
Hmm.
in relation to other characters. And because
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman passed and they had to deal with that, like in the second movie, understandably, the character was really engulfed in grief.
Hmm.
And so the movie was missing the lightness that she brought in the first movie,
Hmm.
the ability to kind
Yeah,
of like take us out of the seriousness for a moment, like her
absolutely. I
ability to
know.
just make fun of his shoes and stuff like that. Like, I love Shrek.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I think she's really
I also
great.
love that
I
she's
mean,
like the smartest person in the Marvel universe, like way
absolutely.
smarter
That's
than
the
like
best
Tony
part.
Stark. Like, it's awesome.
That is the best part. That's why I think it's so great. And I'm thinking that Marvel could have done it totally different with some maybe old man wacky
Right.
scientist, guy, but instead they did younger sister, and I think that's fantastic.
And they also deal with it in the fact that the mountain tribe is like, why does this little girl do da 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 da? And she's just like, whatever, dude.
Yeah, I know. I know. I like her attitude. I'm good with her. So,
Okay, so my next has already been mentioned and is
yes.
is definitely I'm very excited because it's going to be on screen next week, and that's Kamala Khan or Ms. Marvel. I just rewatched that series recently. I loved it when it first came out. I loved it even more on the second rewatch, and most specifically, I love that character. I love who she is. I love how she kind of sees the world. Um,
Yep.
I mean, part of it is she is such an audience surrogate, as basically she's a fangirl who gets to
Mhm.
then live the dream and become the superhero. But it's also so rooted in her culture and being Pakistani.
Mhm. That's what I love. I
And
love that.
the show sort of explores things that I didn't know about Pakistan's history, and but it also does it
Yep.
with the protagonist in Kamala, who is very proud of who she is, and but also like very joyous in what she gets to do. And I this is a whole thing for me with superhero movies. I get so sick of superhero movies and shows where the superhero is just sort of so burdened by their powers, and I'm like, wait a minute. So you're Clark Kent and you can literally do anything, and that somehow makes you sad? That makes no sense. Right?
And then I know, and then
Right?
there's Kamala.
Like,
She's like, "Oh my god, this is
right?
so
And Kamala's like,
cool!"
"Oh my god, this is so cool! I get to do all this cool stuff. This is awesome." And she goes and tells her friends, "Hey, friends, I get to do all this cool stuff." Right?
Oh my god.
And she's just a joy to watch, right? And I haven't seen the Marvels yet, but when I watch, one of the reasons I'm excited about the Marvels is when I watch the trailers, her character seems to be the exact same character she is in the show.
Yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
acting as she would, which is like, I can't believe I get to do this. I can't believe I get to team up with my hero. I'm so excited about it. Kamala Khan. And quite honestly, even before the show Miss Marvel came out, I read the comics Miss Marvel and I loved her then.
Yeah.
So
We have him in the library.
yeah,
In
so such a
library.
cool character. I just Kamala Khan, or AKA Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I agree with you. 100%. Okay, I only didn't pick her, by the way, because I thought I knew she was gonna be in the Marvels movie, so I was doing it other. But I would have picked her. I would have. She's great.
So cool.
But my favorite is not okay. So this is weird because she's not as badass as the others by any means, but big butt.
Everybody I know has a big butt.
Yeah. Belle is
yeah.
my favorite because it was just the first of the you can call them princess movies, even though Mulan's not a princess, all that. But she was the first, right? I mean, so Ariel came out in the renaissance of the
right. 89.
Disney movie.
Yeah.
But she was still like, "But Daddy, I love him." Like, you know. And Belle is the first one who's like, "Gaston, you're an idiot. And now I gotta go save my dad." And yeah, the whole Stockholm syndrome or whatever. But she was able to fall in love with a beast. And I loved it. And I love her. And
yeah.
And that's that.
I mean, come on, it's Belle, right? Like, of the Renaissance era, man. I go back and forth on what's the best movie of the Renaissance era between Beauty and the Beast and Lion King. And I would say, from a story perspective, Lion King, but from an animation perspective and character perspective, Beauty and the Beast. And it's largely because of Belle. I mean, also Gaston.
No, I totally agree.
I mean, Gaston's just an awesome, terrible person. But it's Belle, right? And it was really, what's the word for it? Revolutionary for, when was it, 92?
Yeah.
You know,
91,
maybe 91, but we had not seen that kind of protagonist in a Disney movie, or really in any movies, quite frankly. Like, a female protagonist who, I mean, this was a romance, but that wasn't really the focus of her life, right? Like, I love it.
Right. It turned into the romance.
Right.
But it did not start as a romance.
Right, yeah. And she's got agency. She drives the story. She's sort of the main actor, right, in the storyline. Like, she makes the things happen. The plot centers around her, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Are you kidding me? I love Belle. And honestly, the music.
I know. And not for me. The song Belle is always going to be my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, I love the song Belle. Although I will say the song Gaston is my favorite because it's the most fun to sing at karaoke.
It is. And it is a very fun song. But the few beginning notes of Belle, they just have that emotion. It brings up that emotion to me that I just love so much. So
yeah.
Love it.
New and a bit alarming. Okay, so my number one, you know, as mentioned before, I thought this might come back. And my number one is, like, come on, it's Mary Poppins. It's that Poppins woman.
I know.
It's Mary Poppins.
I know. That Poppins woman.
It's as a protagonist, like, everything you want in a protagonist, like, super powerful, funny, in charge of every situation she is in. And then I was, of course, being my pedantic self, I was like, but, you know, she goes out of her way at the end to say, well, I'm not changed by this. But then I was like, yes, but she's lying. Like, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
When the Umbrella says, you know, she's like, oh, I don't care about these
Yeah.
children. And the Umbrella's like, you're lying. Of course you're. So she is changed by the events of the movie. There's no need to shoehorn in some kind of weird romance for Mary Poppins. She is smarter than everybody in the room.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
literally just runs rings around Mr. Banks. Like, it's Mary Poppins. And I know people don't like it. I love Mary Poppins Returns. I love that character.
I like it.
You
I
know,
didn't love
I
it,
love
but
the
I
music.
liked
I thought
it.
the music was fantastic.
Of course you did. It was just a
Yeah,
play.
literally
of
every
words.
song was like a version. Like when people complain about Mary Poppins Returns,
Yeah.
I have no defense, and I still really like it because literally
that's
every
fair.
song was like, okay, we need a chim chim cheree.
Yes, we do. We need to feed the
birds.
birds.
But
Yeah.
I, particularly the Julie Andrews version, Mary Poppins, y'all. Mary Poppins,
Mary
y'all.
Poppins, y'all. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Yeah, good ones. Good ones.
Yes.
And I am excited at what's coming up in January, which is Echo on Marvel. I'm excited to see the villain. We think Maya, but is she gonna be a villain? Is she not a villain?
But
Maybe
the
she's gonna
trailer,
be a great
the
protagonist.
trailer came out 2 days ago, and it
Yeah, I
looked
saw
really
it.
good,
I saw it.
especially with
Yeah,
Kingpin.
I loved it.
All
Yeah.
Kingpinning it up, man.
Yeah, but watching Kingpin like be her kind of rescuer
Mentor,
in the beginning, and then at the end of the trailer watching her have a gun on him.
Well,
I can't
because
wait to see it.
if you watched Hawkeye,
I did.
I
did watch Hawkeye.
Yeah, and Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin is been around for a few years from the old Daredevil show, which I loved. Loved it.
They're bringing back Daredevil on Disney
They are,
Plus,
but
aren't
whether
they?
or not they're kind of trying to say they're not really linking it with the old ones. The first,
What?
it's weird.
It's
Exactly. But there's a question as to whether the original series is going to be canon, and he's in it, and it's Daredevil and Kingpin, but the supporting actors aren't in it, which makes no sense.
Right,
but I don't know. I don't know.
right.
I try not to judge things before they come out. Okay. I'm excited about Echo. I'm also super excited. They've been putting out a ton of information on Wish lately.
Yes, Wish is coming out Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And
so the next time we talk, we may have seen Wish.
I would imagine so, right? We generally do something every 2 weeks. We're about 2 weeks out from Thanksgiving.
Well, I'll be leaving. Yeah, we either will be talking right before it or right after it. So
yeah, because you all will be down in Anaheim / LA. So
we'll watch it down there.
Yeah,
we'll watch it down
there.
there.
Are you gonna do El Capitan? I haven't done El Capitan in years, and I kind of wanna.
I don't think so. Just because I hate LA. And I would. I would if Emma had never been there, because she still hadn't been, but she actually did go to El Capitan for a team meeting.
Oh, okay.
And they watched.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Ugh. So yep. So now she's been there, and yeah, I can watch it in Orange County. I don't have to go to LA.
All right. I mean, all right. I love that theater.
Change my mind.
I love that theater. That's the only thing. I mean, but I'm trying to think. There's an AMC theater. There's some theaters by Disneyland, so you'll probably. Now, you all staying near Anaheim or near LA?
No, we're staying near the Santa Ana airport.
Oh, okay. So closer to
Because their house is close to the airport. So.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yep. They have in Orange. They have the Orange Outlets or whatever. They have a really good theater right there.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah. I lived in Orange for 2 years. I just go to that theater all the time.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now's our time to ask our friends, our community duelists, what did we miss? What did we get right? All that. Feel free to tell us. I'm sure we missed some that you're like, what the heck?
Oh yeah, please. Like, we really want to hear the duh. Because I don't think any traditional princesses made our list, so that's interesting.
There you go. That's true. All right, so let us know on all of our things that you can let us know on, which are Facebook and Instagram and And if you're watching us, then right here on YouTube down below. And don't forget to subscribe and follow.
Your cadaverous pallor betrays an aura of foreboding, almost as though you sense a disquieting metamorphosis. Is this haunted room actually stretching? Or is it your imagination? And consider this dismaying observation. This chamber has no windows and no doors, which offers you this chilling challenge to find a way out. Of course, there's always dueling Disney.